Aubrey Bugg, how you doing today?
Doing really well. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Your publicist sent me your information. I was checking out your songs. You have a new single out today, actually. That is killer. The single is "The One You Want to Lose." You have a debut album coming out. I think I Had Something Once. That's going to be out September 18th on Dual Tone Records. So it sounds like you're very, very busy these days.
Yeah, yes, definitely. It's I wasn't expecting to be, but it's kind of the crunch time is what I've been told. So it's like I'll look at my calendar a week ahead and I'll be like, wow, I have like very little, and then like a day or two before, my manager will call me and be like, hey, so you have six things tomorrow? Did you know that? And I'm like, whoa. I think I'm handling it relatively decently.
Yeah, and I mean, it can be overwhelming, but also it's awesome because everything's popping at the same time.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people know you from TikTok because you've become a very viral TikTok star. You did
Yeah.
a series of cover songs that were very, very popular. Tummy Hurts, I think, is one of the biggest. That was actually the first one, right?
I think it was like day 12, maybe 12 or 13.
But that's one of the
Uh,
ones that first really popped off for you.
oh yeah, definitely the first viral video I ever had.
Right, right.
It was freaking insane.
Yeah, and I love the idea. I mean, we were just talking before we started. TikTok has become a really great place for singer-songwriters and
Oh
just
yeah.
a great forum for that, right?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I think that the TikTok algorithm is really, really good at, kind of finding viewers and putting them in a niche of people. So like if you are on TikTok and you want to hear indie musicians, you just have really, really good musicians thrown at you, 24/7. And then, if you have a song as a musician and you put it out and it reaches people that aren't your niche, you kind of also have a good gauge of like, oh, that's what people want to hear because it escaped containment, it escaped this small community that I've kind of forged. But yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
it's been life changing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think it's especially for young artists, it's such a great option because the traditional record route has changed so much. And I know you're on Dual Tone Records, which has and they actually have a 25th anniversary coming up too, which we're going to talk about. America's Fest Bash, I think they have. But tell me about you. So you came out you were originally from Illinois, then you came to Nashville. Tell me that story.
Yeah, so I grew up in Granite City, Illinois, which is like a stone's throw from St. Louis. But even though it's fairly close to St. Louis, it's very like tight knit. It's very small, like farm town. Like there's a mill there that was like the whole economic backbone.
Hmm.
But my parents still live there. I visit often. I love it now that I've left it. But when I was in it, it was like, oh, this is the most isolating experience. Like
Right.
you get so far and you just like you can't collaborate with anybody there because nobody's doing what you want to be doing. And so last year I packed it all up and I moved to Nashville because I had this just robust network of friends, and now the team that I've built is here. And I love the community that this place gives you. You go into like a party or a function and you have like four folk singer songwriters, two like alt rock people, like a bunch of shoegaze people, like indie everything. It's like it's so incredible. It's such a tight knit community and everybody's just down to be around each other and to learn from each other.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, people have that, Nashville country, which of course still exists, but there's so much other stuff going on there. There's rockers, there's all sorts of, and a lot of people I'm interviewing now are based in Nashville.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that scene because I mean, in terms of songwriting, which I love your songwriting and storytelling, are you collaborating with other singer songwriters, or how do you work for your songwriting side?
Yeah, I have done a lot of collaboration in the last year or so since I moved here. I definitely have like my kind of group of collaborators that I'm always reaching for, if I can't quite work out a song. But I think that I'm more creative just when I'm around creative people. Like a lot of my friends, most of my friends are musicians,
Mm.
and most of them aren't in like the country. They're in like the indie folk or the alt rock or all of that stuff. And I think that I learn more about songwriting when I'm not songwriting with other people, but when I'm just around people that are creative.
Ah,
And
okay.
I think that the community out here is just so fertile when it comes to ideas and sharing, processes and all of that stuff. And so I do a lot of collaboration, but I often find that I learn more when I'm not working, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's great. We're always learning, even if you're not, like you said, not personally writing at the moment. You can get the inspiration is amazing. Tell me about making the new album. how did you go about that process, and who produced it with you, and
Yeah.
everything? It sounds amazing, and again, like I really love your voice. You have a very interesting, unique voice.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the this record is we kind of reverse engineered the record process. I went through a breakup and a move and I had a really long year last year and I was just writing all the time about it. I was like, okay, I don't know if all of these songs are going to make it on a project, but I'm gonna call up John Class, who produced most of the record. I'm gonna call up Matt Martin, who produced a couple songs, wrote a few songs with me, who are like my frequent flyers, my constant collaborators. And I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna say I have this feeling, and I don't know where the song is gonna end up, but I want to write it. And so at the end, the very end of last year, beginning of this year, we kind of just took stock of all the songs, and we were like, this is like at least 3 albums, so we could probably get one pretty good one out of him. And so we started with, I think I Had Something Once, which was the first song that I wrote for the record last year, and I said I want all the songs to kind of point towards that. And then I sat in a room with John, and then I sat in a room with Matt, and I said, do you think this song? And they'd go, yeah. Or I'd say, maybe this one, and they'd go, absolutely not. And we kind of ended up with this little bundle of what feels like the last few years of my life just in an album.
Yeah, do you think it's important to have to build a good team? Because you mentioned your frequent flyers.
Yeah.
Because you need, I mean, as an artist, it can be a very much alone experience. It's nice to have that support, right?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I think like as much as I love, my managers call it the dating phase. I love going and I love writing with new people, and I always get like cool experiences, and sometimes it's like really good songs out of those. But I feel like at some point you stop, being two people that are trying to write a song and kind of dancing around each other, and you start being like one brain that is making
Yeah,
one song, and you
a
just like
symbiotic kind of relationship.
exactly, you know exactly what the other person's going to reach for, and you try to just like kind of make it better just a little bit. And I think that it's like this
Mhm.
higher level of songwriting and collaboration when you know your partners really, really well.
Yeah, and it's exciting to have smart people around you, and extra ears, sets of ears can really help, right?
Most definitely, yeah. My first record, it's called Muscle Memory. It's an EP, and I did it all by myself. So I did like all of the writing and the mixing and the producing and the mastering and everything and all the artwork. It was like I at some point I'm just like banging my head against a wall.
Yeah, it's like going to college, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. I will say college kind of prepared me. I did like a year and a half of college, and it kind of prepared me for the just banging my head against a wall doing something. And I'm like it really showed me that like there's a phrase that floats around. It's like you never finish a mix, you just give up on a mix, and that's just
Yeah.
kind of how it was when I was doing it all myself. But having people around, it's like I can just be like, and what if we did this? And they'd be like, yeah. And also, it's like it's very improvisational, and it's very like it's a very cool space, and you can just go so much farther with other
Yeah, you
people.
create a safe space for creativity where everybody is
Absolutely,
respecting everybody's opinion. That's an awesome thing. Hard to
absolutely.
achieve too. It's not easy to find that where you trust everybody, right?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I have my frequent flyers for a reason for sure, just because I feel like I trust them so implicitly, that it's just like I could bring you a song and you would tell me one if it's good or not. Like these people like will just look at me in the face and go like, I don't think we need to work on this anymore. I don't think this one's like worth chasing.
Yeah.
And they'll also just like they'll chase down every whim and want I have, even if they know from the beginning it's not like probably not gonna work,
Mhm.
which is like it feels makes me feel very powerful, but is also just like I know when I'm putting these songs out that we exhausted every possible direction this song could have gone, that we wanted it to go, and this is the best possible form. Whereas like I feel like if I were to go into a room with somebody that I'd never met before, but is on paper an incredible collaborator, an incredible producer, and just be like, hey, this is the song, like I'd be almost not necessarily afraid, but I'd be a little apprehensive to be like, can we chase this down and can we chase this down and can we chase this down and can we come back next week and try something else? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Because I mean, the songs are really ultimately your children, right? It's like your babies. You're releasing
Yes.
out and you're letting other people playing with your babies. So that's even more
Oh,
stressful.
most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
But I think Matt and John, who did this record and who I'm working with on record too, are are just like I trust them. I would trust them with my actual physical children if I had any. So I
Yeah.
definitely trust them with my
You're gonna
songs.
have to get them once you get down the road. You're gonna have to get them some frequent flyer cards. Make it
Yeah, a little
official.
stamp card.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Who are as a young person just listening to music? Who were you listening to? Like, who did you gravitate towards?
When I was really young, it was a lot of like the greats. It was a lot of Bonnie Raitt, Linda Ronstadt, Joni Mitchell was huge for me growing up.
Right.
And then I would listen to a lot of classic rock, a lot of like Kansas, Queen,
Oh,
that of that ilk. I just took my dad to a John Anderson of Yes concert.
yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. That's
oh
what the band geeks. Those are my friends.
yes, yes, they were freaking phenomenal. That was such a good concert. He's
Yeah.
like up there in his 80s. I was not expecting that concert to be 2.5 hours, but I had a great time.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
amazing.
listened.
It's amazing he can still sing that high.
Oh my God, it's amazing that he's just up there at all.
Right.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. But no, it was incredible. So I grew up in a lot of like that kind of like rock, prog rock, and then just like indie, not indie, but like I guess what by today's standards would be like indie singer-songwriters, specifically women. And then nowadays I'm doing a lot of like kind of this generation's version of that. So I listen to a lot of Christian Lee Hudson
Mm.
lately. He's been really, really big for me in writing record too. A lot of Christian Lee Hudson, a lot of Lizzie McAlpine. Very excited for her record,
Oh,
even
yeah.
if it
Yeah.
is the same day as mine. Um, a lot of Phoebe Bridgers, naturally. A lot of Stephen Day when I was in high school, which is crazy because now Steve's a friend. But I yeah, just anybody that was like that you could kind of feel was honest.
Right. That's about, I mean, those are all great storytellers. Do you find that that's important for what you're doing songwriting wise?
100%. I think I'm kind of the school of thought that every song has to be like a moment in time. Like, yeah, it can expand over an entire story, but like at the end of the song, you have to be able to pin out like, okay, I was exactly here when I wrote this. At least I
Mm.
do. Or like when I
Right.
listen to a song, I want to be like, I want to be able to kind of build the song
It's
around
like
me.
part of your diary, right?
1,000,000%. And I think
Yeah.
that all of those artists are just so good at like taking you and plopping you into whatever that moment they were writing about.
Mm.
And so it's incredible to listen to. And so it's definitely what I try to emulate in my writing is it's
Yeah.
just taking somebody out of wherever they are and putting them in a moment.
Well, you do a great job of it, and it's interesting, and I like the production style of what I've listened to because it feels like it's a very intimate feeling because that's your voice is very like the great storyteller voice, which is what immediately drew me to what wanting to do the interview. Tell me about live shows because you just came off a tour, right?
Yeah, I came off of tour. Oh gosh, I came off of like a little festival run in the UK. It was State Fair Fest in Glasgow and London, and then I did
Awesome.
my very, very first ever headline show I did in
Ah,
London. And it was sold out and it was beautiful. I love live shows. I think like music is like a vessel to kind of understand people better, but I think that there's no better way to get people interested or to get people or to see how you're impacting people than to do a live show. I love them. I've been playing I started playing bars when I was like 13.
okay.
And so going from playing bars where everybody's drunk and nobody's listening to like going and doing shows where people are there for the music, it's like if every album I made ever just had to be on CD and I had to sell them at live shows, but I got to do live shows, so that'd be fine. I don't like the notoriety of it is so little compared to just being able to be in a room with people and talk to them about how what music means to them and see how this music interacts with the people.
Talking about and you mentioned you were playing at a really young age. I think your father a drummer? You had the kind of a musical family, right?
Yes, yes, my dad is a hobbyist drummer. He was in like a bunch of cover bands when I was like either right before I was born or when I was like a baby. And so he like our extended family on my dad's side is not his like biological family. It's his best friend Joe
Oh, okay. Awesome.
and Joe's wife Jen. And so like every Christmas it was they were born on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day respectively. So we would go over on Christmas Eve and it would just evolve into karaoke and all of us like by a fire with like guitars, and my dad would be drumming on buckets, and it's like I growing up in that environment, it's just like there's no way I'm not going to end up some sort of musician at some point.
Yeah, well, that's such a fun way to grow up. I kind of grew up in Silver. My dad had a lot of friends that were musicians. They'd come over and jam. I'm like, I want to do that.
No,
That looks
absolutely.
fun. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it's the best.
So tell me about what you have coming up live wise. Do you have some touring coming up, or what? After I know that with the release, I'm sure you've got things happening. But
We definitely have things in the works. We're looking at some headline dates to support this tour. Nothing's announced yet, but it will be fairly soon. Very, very excited to get on the road and to do headline shows. Also very scared to do headline shows. I have so many friends in the industry right now, and they're doing these headline shows, and their shows are going really, really well, but they're just like, oh, I'm so scared. Like the
yeah,
ticketing and the merch and everything. Like I've never done it before, but I'm super stoked to get out there and try it.
it takes it takes a village to make that all work, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I
Yeah.
trust my team so much that, if they say like this is what we're gonna do, I'm there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you're fortunate to have that. Aubrey, how can people find you if they want to check out the new album and also your upcoming tour dates?
Yeah, Instagram is probably the most up to date. Instagram and TikTok are super up to date for me. I also have a website. It's just aubrybugg.com. I have a newsletter that you can sign up for on there if you're not a social
Awesome.
media person. And yeah, and then I have pre-order for vinyls and CDs if you're a physical media person, or there's a pre-save for Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, everything for the record.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I know we are
Yeah,
having our connection challenges, but that's okay. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm
yeah.
excited to see what you do. And hopefully, if you get to Las Vegas, let me know. I'd love to come see you live.
I will do. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun.
Awesome. Well, have a great day, Aubrey. And we'll have this out shortly, and I will put all your links, including your Spotify and your website, on the podcast description.
Incredible. Thank you so much. This was such a pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks for
All right,
talking to me. I
thank you.
appreciate it.